Hi Stampers, my name is Sandy Hancock. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I'm coming to you from Southern California. Today is Monday, August the 26th, 2024. And what I'm going to be doing, this is, I thought part 2 was going to be the end of this series, but actually there's going to be a part 3 because I ended up using each of the 4 sheets of this sunflower paper to make cards. And I thought, I can't show you those 4 cards plus 5 more. It's just too much. So I'm going to show you today the 4 cards that I made out of this gorgeous sunflower paper. It comes from the Splendid Autumn Suite, which is on page 37 in the new catalog. And I know many of you now have gotten your new catalogs. So it's featuring each one of these papers. There's 12 designs, 4 of each, 48 sheets in the package. And I'm also going to be using some of the faux glass dots, the woven golden leaves, and the wild wheat ribbon. Okay, so here we go. The first card I'm going to show you, you're going to be very surprised. I'm using the retired Scallop contour die. I'm going to apologize ahead of time. Something is in the air today, and I'm having the hardest time keeping my throat clear, so forgive me if I have to stop and clear my throat. Okay, so the DSP is cut 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. And you get to decide, you know, what you want to show. I really wanted a little bit of the sky to show, so I did that. This is the largest die. It's not for sale, but many of you have it. And I just think it's too beautiful to let it just sit there. So these are the faux glass dots. A little note to brighten your day comes from changing leaves, as well as the larger die that I'm cutting the mossy meadow with. And then the little dot, the die for the little white piece is this die, and it comes from Greetings of the Season dies. So I said last time it was part of Peaceful Season. It's not. It's Season of Green and Gold Sweet. It's online. And so it's the dies from that. So that's what I cut out. A little note to brighten your day with. Okay, so there is card 1. Alrighty. Then card number 2, again, I'm just going to show you. I'm going to show you all the pieces that I used to make this card. Okay, I'm going to drink some water. Okay, this die is from Changing Seasons. And of course it's easy to cut out the DSP. You just put it wherever you want it and cut it out. However, when you get to the cardstock, it's not quite the same. Let's see, where's my piece? Here we go. Okay, so once I cut this out and put it on a piece of cardstock, it really didn't look that pretty to me with squared corners. So I wanted the corners to match the DSP. So this is what I did. I took the die. Now remember, this side is folded. Okay, so you're going to put your die right against the fold and bring it way up to the top. Stick it down. Now you're going to put it in at an angle into your cutter, and you're very gingerly going to cut. This takes a little patience, and if you don't have the patience to fiddle with it a little bit, I wouldn't try to make this card. So you just kind of roll it in a little bit and then roll it out and see if you cut it. And then if you didn't, roll it in a little bit more. And then you're going to do that on each side. And sometimes they don't turn out exactly perfect, but it's good enough. So anyway, now this is the way it turned out. See, this isn't exactly perfect, but okay, I have to get over that. All right, so now here are the things that I used on it. I used, out of the bundle, I cut 3 golden leaves to put them in. I used 3 mellow moss pieces of greenery, and then I used 2 of the golden leaves. And I just, when I did the ribbon, first I tied an actual bow, and it was so thick, I thought, oh my, you're going to have to pay extra postage or hand deliver it. So then I decided, you know what, I'm going to remake it, and I'm just going to do that with the ribbon. And I was hoping that that would make it a little bit slimmer, But you know what? I think this still is going to have to be hand delivered because I had some, I've got a few dimensionals under there to hold all this together. So I have 2 golden leaves at the top, 2 of the green leaves, 1 golden leaf at the bottom, 1 green leaf. And then these circles are from Stylish Shapes, and Just For You is from So Sincere. And then of course the faux glass dots. So just have fun putting it together. I don't have the time to actually fiddle with this and put it together for you, but if you like to fiddle, then you'll really enjoy making this card. And just cut. For instance, if I were going to cut this paper, let's say this is my piece of DSP that I have that's left over, then I'm just going to put this like this, and maybe a little bit bigger than I think I'm going to want, depending on how much you have to use, and then just run it through, and then I go back. Now I'm cutting them down to 1 inch each so that I have a little bit more room to write. Okay, so there's card number 2. I'll just pull these pieces together and get them out of our way. Okay, now card number 3 I'm actually going to make, and it's one that you know. It is called the Fractured Technique, and I thought, I think this might be really, really pretty with this paper. And sure enough, I think it really, really is. So let me just quickly remind you how to make this card. So first thing I did, I just cut the card down. You know, again, I left a little bit of sky up there. I cut the card to 4 by 5 1/4, so just basically a 1/4 inch less. Okay, oops, okay, we're not gonna put it on yet. And then, because we have to put the pieces on. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I want the center portion right here. I want it to stand up a little bit. So I cut, this is the Stylish Shape dies. Which side is that on? Okay, and so I cut 3 of them. I have 2 cut out of Mossy Meadow, and then I have 1 cut out of Gold. So that's gonna be my center piece. And then I also took another Stylish Shapes die, the next smaller one down. This is about 1 3/4 inches. And I'm going to use this for my center. Okay, so is that straight? Almost. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at our, well, let's see, I'll put it here. Okay, and we want to find, let's see, this is 4 inches. So I want to find the center, which is going to be here. And then I want, okay, it's 4, 5 1/4, so it's going to be 2 1/2, 2 3/4. Okay, I'm just trying to kind of eyeball. I mean, if you want to get really specific, you can mark it, but I'm okay with close. Okay, so I think that's pretty close. And then what I did is I cut 4 pieces that are 1/8 of an inch. Now, at different times, I've made it wider. For instance, here's one I did with the perennial lavender paper, and these pieces are 3/8 of an inch each. Still very, very pretty, but I don't want to cover up my DSP. So I'm going to make them 1/8 of an inch. Okay, and so all we're going to do is just put some adhesive on here, and then you're going to line it up evenly like this. Okay, just let it go over. Then you're going to get piece number 2. I think you're remembering now how to do this, and if you've never known how to do it, well, you'll see how simple it is. Okay, so now we've got piece number 2, piece number 3. So you just keep lining it up right at the edge. Okay, right at the edge. Okay, last piece is going to go right there. Okay, now what we're going to do, take a pair of scissors, and we're just going to go around and cut off the excess pieces. Looking very familiar to you, because I You know, we went through a season where this was like the hot card to make. Okay, so now that I have this done, I can actually put it onto my piece of cardstock. And so I will do that. Let me make sure this is, yeah, okay. Okay, ooh, look at all those beautiful sunflowers showing up. Love it, love it, love it. And then all I did to finish this was I took from sketched butterflies, let me get a glue dot. I just took a butterfly from sketched butterflies, cut it out in gold. I'm gonna let it go about like that. And then I'm going to get, let's see, where's my little, here. Okay, let me move that. Okay, so then we're just gonna put a couple of little rhinestones on here. And then I'm going to take this, I'm going to show you again how to do this on the next card. Dear Friend is also from the Autumn Expressions suite. You'll see it right here, Dear Friend. And again, I've used the same two dies. I've used the die from, again, Greetings of the Seasons, and then the bigger one is from Changing Leaves. And I'm going to show you exactly how I do that on the next card, so I'm not taking the time to do it now. Okay, so Dear Friend. Okay, now is that beautiful or what? Yeah, it's beautiful. It's really easy to make. And then inside I just took a strip to put down the side. Okay, so there we go, card number 2. Or is that card number 3? I guess it's card number 3. Okay, now card number 4. I don't have room for everything here. Okay, card number 4, I'm going to actually do some cutting on this card. So we're going to use the Countryside Corner dies. And the stamps are not around anymore, but the dies are around, and I'm so glad because they are so beautiful. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to take your 2 largest dies. This is what they all look like. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 dies, and I just kept them together even though this is retired. So Countryside Corners are what I'm using here. So you're going to get some tape, and you're going to put these dies together very evenly. So just fiddle-diddle around with it a little bit until you get what you want. Okay, so now I get to decide what I want showing on this card. And this time I think I'm going to move it up just a little bit so that I have just a tiny bit of sky showing. I really want a lot of the flowers, so I'm not going to probably get too much. I might not get any sky. I might get a little. Okay, so now I'm just going to run over and cut this out. And I think it's important that you see the process to how to do this. So we'll just run it through a cutter, and you'll hear that I have an electric one. Way back years ago, when I didn't have an electric one, I was working on a project, and I'm goal-oriented, and I got too many pieces, you know, that needed to be cut for each person, for each card. But I just kept going even though my back started hurting. Okay, that was the wrong thing to do. So I really wrecked my back. And so then I had to get an electric one. Okay, so now this is what we have. And I'm gonna put these away so I don't lose them. Okay, so now we've got these 2 pieces. I'm going to, oh, let me get that back out again because I have to show you something. Okay, so since the Countryside Corners have corners cut, I wanted like this. I wanted the corners to match the dies because I just think it's so much prettier. So this is how I did it. You just take, well, let me get a regular piece. Okay, so you take a regular card and just line up like this. You don't have to tape it or anything. Just put it there and cut it. And then just be really careful, get it right there and cut it. And you're gonna do this on all 4 corners. And then you're going to end up with what I just showed you, which is just so, so beautiful. Okay, Now, I had to decide if I want this, well, okay, I had to, well, okay, let me do this. I've cut 3 extra of this because you can see how it's standing up, because I want it to be pretty obvious that it's a frame. And so in order to do that, I have to build this up. And so I'm just going to put together 4 of these, and that'll take me just a minute to do that. It's pretty easy. It just takes a minute, a little bit of patience, maybe more than a little bit of patience at times, to just get it on there just right. But I'm pretty patient. Okay, so now let's go to this 3rd one. Okay. There's some things I'm not patient with, like I cannot crochet. I mean, I know how, but I just don't have the patience for it. Or little needlework, I have no patience for that kind of stuff. But I could remake a card 2 or 3 times if I need to. Something is not fitting here. What did I do? Oh, wait, maybe I already have. How many is this? 1, 2, oh, I already have 3. Okay, all right. So now what I need to decide, let's just put this here, and let's put this here. And now we're going to decide, do we want to have a green border? Do we want to have a sunflower border? And then I even thought, well, gosh, is there another color border that might be pretty? So just for fun, I tried Cajun Crit. No, I tried Cherry Cobbler. No, it's not going to work. And so I thought, no, I want as much of the sunflowers as I can get. So now I'm going to put the sunflowers on top. And again, I'm just creating a really pretty little border, a frame for this gorgeous sunflower paper. Okay, so, oops, what am I doing? Okay, so let's get this on here. Okay, now let's see, did I get it on there right? I don't think so. Does that? Okay, people, shouldn't be this hard. Okay, I think this was the right way. Nope, here's this guy up here. Okay, all right, there we go. Okay, so now what you want to do first is you want to put your frame down. The first time I did this, I put this down, and I had the hardest time ever getting it in the center. And so I discovered that if I put the frame down first, then it's much easier to just insert the DSP. Okay, so now let's get that on there, kind of in the center. I think that's pretty centered. Okay, now I'm going to take my gorgeous sunflower DSP and slip it into the center. Oh, and I forgot to say, I did add the painted texture embossing folder after I cut the corners, because I just, let's see, I'm going to pull this up, stick this down. Okay, now is it sticking down? I think so. Okay, so now you can see that there's a definite frame here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, once again, let's see what I do with my glue dots. I'm going to add a little butterfly, and that's all I did initially, add a little butterfly, and then I thought, oh, I think it needs more than that. So then I thought, okay, I'm going to put another dear friend on there. And I just wanted to show you exactly how I'm doing it. So I'm only going to do this one time. So I have my stamp, Dear Friend, from the Autumn Expressions. You can use Versamark, or you can use an Encore pad, whatever you happen to have. Oops, I almost forgot. What did I do with my embossing buddy? It just comes out super extra clean if you have an embossing buddy that you can use. Okay. All right, so Dear Friend, in gold. Then I'm going to put some embossing powder on it. Okay, now I'm going to grab my heat tool, heat gun. Maybe I can bring it over here. See if you can see it. I love it when it starts changing. I remember the first time I ever saw this embossing, I was absolutely fascinated. And when I started embossing, I was using the bottom of my iron. And let's see, what else do we use? Some people tried a frying pan. That didn't work too well, but we didn't have the heat guns. So we were trying everything possible. Okay, so this is how you're gonna do this. You just put this is the one from, keep forgetting the name of it, Greetings of the Season. Gonna get it on there nice and straight. Put something down. Let's put another thing down right here. Okay, now I'm gonna go cut this out. This is gonna take just an extra second or two, but I wanna show you, if you've never done this, how simple it is. Okay, so now I've got my white piece cut out, and of course it's too big. So now I'm just gonna turn this around. Be sure to use the end that doesn't have the hole in it. Okay. I'm just going to set this right over the top. How big do I want it? Not too big. Okay, maybe like that. Okay, now I'm going to go back and cut it again. So you can see that it's really easy to do. Okay, so now I've got my dear friend to the right size, and I've gone ahead and cut a piece of gold. And what I'm gonna do is put this on here. I'm not gonna adhere it. I'm just going to lay it on there. And I better get my adhesive here. Okay, I'm just gonna lay it on here and say, okay, I want it about this, wait, is that how big I want it? About that big, I guess. Okay, now you don't wanna leave your white piece on there. I'm trying to remember why. I did it the first time. I left it on there, and I was not happy. Okay, I think that's on there right. It gets kind of squished, so let me cut this out. And it just seems to be a lot prettier if you'll keep them separate. Okay, so now I've got my gold piece. And I can put my dear friend on there. I like dear friend, and it's like, again, it is out of the suite that we're using, because you can say happy, oops, oh my goodness, I lost it. You can say happy birthday, thank you W, thank you. I mean, you can say absolutely anything. So dear friend works for me. So I'm just gonna put it right off to the left. I think I might go back after this is over and cut it down just a tiny bit more. Oh, and I forgot to put rhinestones on there. I have to have rhinestones on the butterfly. There we go. Okay, so really, this isn't a hard card. It just takes a little bit of cutting, but it just shows off the sunflower paper, I think, in the most beautiful way. And then I put 1 inch. I didn't get that quite straight. That's a bug. Okay. All right, so let me put out all 4 of these cards. And I would love to know if you try some of them. Well, I don't think they're gonna show up there. I better move them up. Okay, like that. Okay, so let me know if you try some of them, and I hope that you have enjoyed seeing all these sunflower cards. So next time, I promise, in part 3, it will be the other 5 cards, because I'm basically done designing with this set of papers. So yeah, take a picture, and September the 4th, if I were you, I would suggest ordering this right off the bat, because I think it's going to disappear off the shelves very quickly. So thank you for joining me, and I will look forward to seeing you next week for part 3.